Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on this dreary Monday. The gloomy weather is an indicator to what we could see later this week. I'm Ashley Godwin here with meteorologist Simone Thomas. Simone, people may be reaching for their umbrellas and rain boots, but what about their big winter coats?
You know, this week is going to definitely be a big active week in the world of weather for Central Arkansas. Everybody that complained about it being too warm for Christmas, you're welcome, because changes are coming this weekend. Starting with what we're seeing today, we're seeing scattered to numerous showers and thunderstorms across the natural state today. Across the metro, we're seeing a lot of that heavier rain coverage across western portions, so west of the 430 line, moving northeast across the state. Now, we're also seeing some gusty winds with this. Wind gusts right now around 20 to 30 miles an hour. Pine Bluff seeing wind gusts around 33 at the moment. Hot Springs seeing wind gusts around 25 miles an hour. Farther northwest winds are a little bit gustier, which has prompted a wind advisory in effect. That's from now through 6 o'clock tomorrow. So even tomorrow, as the rain starts to move out of the way, these gusty winds are going to continue. But if you stick around, we'll talk more about what's coming on later on this week in my full forecast.
All right, thanks, Simone. And starting today, people can begin applying for the Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program, also known as LIHEAP. The program is designed to lower the energy burden for low-income households who pay a high proportion of household income for home energy costs by paying benefits for home energy bills.
It's a great program, particularly for those individuals and families who are on a limited budget. We have a lot of elderly and disabled folks out there that a lot of times being able to pay their light bill or making a decision where they're going to buy their food or their drugs for the month is a hard decision.
Eligibility for LIHEAP assistance in Arkansas is based on both the percentage of the state median income and federal poverty guidelines. The standard assist applications will be accepted until March 22nd, and the program will continue until it runs out of funding. You can learn more about how to apply on thv11.com. A local branch of the NAACP is hosting an emergency meeting in Conway tonight. They're set to discuss the violent incident that happened at Mally's Entertainment Center over the weekend. Several posts on social media describe a violent incident that led to an alleged stabbing that reportedly started with people using racial slurs. Due to the graphic nature, we are not sharing those videos. Conway police haven't confirmed any details at this time, but is asking the public for information and videos that could shed light on what happened. Now, as for that meeting with the Faulkner County NAACP, it is set for 7 p.m. at McGee Center in Conway tonight. We're going to be at the meeting and have more tonight at 10. Oaklawn Racing is hard at work getting its track up to speed this week after canceling several races over the weekend. The track cited safety concerns caused by winter weather conditions for the closure. Oaklawn says the decision was made out of an abundance of caution for the horses and jockeys. The company says it's planning to have the track in racing condition for events scheduled this upcoming weekend. The Iowa caucuses, the first stop in the 2024 Republican presidential race, will be held 1 week from today. Former President Donald Trump holds a commanding lead in the polls over Nikki Haley, Ron DeSantis, and the rest of the field. Ed O'Keefe is in Des Moines following the candidates as they make their final appeals to voters.
1 week to go, and Republican contenders were on the trail in Iowa this weekend. Former President Donald Trump downplaying the January 6th attack on the Capitol 3 years ago and reiterating his plan to pardon those who participated.
Some people call them prisoners. I call them hostages. Release the J6 hostages, Joe.
But President Biden has no plans to do that.
Trump's mob wasn't a peaceful protest. It was a violent assault. They were insurrectionists, not patriots.
As for Trump's GOP opponents, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis warns if Republicans pick Trump,
I think it's going to be a really nasty election. I don't think that puts Republicans in a good position to win.
Former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley agrees.
Chaos follows him.
But she says attacking Trump isn't the way to win.
For those that want me to hit Trump more, I just am not going to do it.
Recent polls show Trump leading in Iowa by double digits, thanks to longtime supporters like Gary Leffler, whose tractor is spotted outside many Trump rallies.
President Trump restored the American dream to every American.
Loeffler and these volunteers who spent the weekend making calls for Trump are part of a far more organized campaign than the last time he ran here.
What you're telling me is they're taking this a lot more seriously and studiously than they did back in 2016.
Well, they understand what a caucus is, county by county, precinct by precinct.
The goal is to bring at least 10 people with you.
Right.
So what does the bell mean?
When you get somebody to commit to caucus.
Now you're just rubbing it in. Now you're just rubbing it in.
These young workers are intense and they're competitive.
Ed O'Keefe, CBS News, Des Moines.
Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders and her father, former Governor Mike Huckabee, were set to travel to Iowa today to campaign with former President Donald Trump. They had to cancel because of weather conditions here in Little Rock and in Iowa. And in other news, congressional leaders say they've reached an agreement on the overall spending levels for the remainder of the year. It's the first step towards avoiding a government shutdown later this month. The $1.6 trillion deal includes more than $800 billion for defense spending and over $700 billion for non-defense spending, according to top Democrats. And the first significant winter storm of the season blanketed the Northeast over the weekend. The snow started early in the afternoon on Saturday and continued throughout the night and into Sunday afternoon. But it wasn't the only part of the country to see some wild weather this weekend. Out west, there was snow in Nevada and California. And down south in Florida, a tornado caused power outages as it touched down Saturday. Another storm is on the move. It's expected to bring heavy snow, strong winds, potential tornadoes, and serious flooding into the Midwest and East later this week. Now, the major snowstorm caused some travel headaches for flyers over the weekend, but not as many as an order from FAA. More than 100 Boeing 737 MAX 9 jets are grounded following a terrifying Alaska Airlines incident. A plug door blew off as the plane was taking off from Portland, Oregon Friday. Pilots also reported pressurization warnings 3 times in the last month. As Chris Van Cleve reports, it's not the first snag for the jet.
Our first look at the crippled Alaska Airlines 737 MAX 9. Investigators say damage like this mangled seat has been found in nearly every row. Nicholas Hoke was on the flight Friday night.
A loud boom, or almost like a mini explosion, happens abruptly.
It was a 63-pound piece of the plane known as a plug door blowing out at 16,000 feet, leaving a gaping hole, forcing the 171 passengers and 6 crew to don oxygen masks.
Alaska, trouble to declare an emergency. We're descending down to 10,000 and we need to return back to Portland.
Saturday, the FAA grounded all 737 MAX 9s in the U.S., 171 of them for further inspections. Boeing says it fully supports that decision, and safety is our top priority. In March 2019, the MAX was grounded for 619 days after 2 deadly crashes linked to a design flaw in the plane's flight control systems killed 346.
The plane is still here at the Portland airport. It's been pulled over by a hangar where investigators have been working. You can see where that plug door is missing.
The door was found late Sunday night. NTSB Chair Jennifer Homendy.
What happens if it had been at cruise altitude?
At cruise altitude, we could have lost the aircraft. At that point, the pressure differential is so great that the explosion would have been extremely violent, extremely.
The plane is just weeks old. The NTSB says when that piece blew out, it did so with so much force, it ripped open the locked fortified cockpit door 26 rows away. Boeing is planning a safety summit on Tuesday stemming from this incident. Chris Van Cleve, CBS News, Portland.
It was a star-studded 81st Golden Globes award show. We've got all the highlights and who came out on top at 12:17. Simone?
And at 12:13, we're going to have a look at how long you might need that rain gear, as well as when you might need to pull out that big winter coat.